Greetings. In designing the ideal curriculum, much needs to be considered and much shall therefore be. As adults, it is important to remember our voice when we were a child and how we said we would be better doing things differently than our parents. As teachers, we must remember that same voice that said the same for our teachers in the educational system at large. Only when we have joined the reality of the child can we then have an inkling as to how best go about educating them. Consider the many popular songs regarding education. Another Brick in the Wall by Pink Floyd and Schools Out by Alice Cooper both evince the perception by adolescents of the mainstream educational system is not a favorable one. In almost every business, the voice of the client is considered paramount. We must consider the voice of our students. The ideal school I envision would be obviously constructivist and student-oriented. It would be influenced by both Montessori and Reggio Emilia more than others, yet implement that which is useful from all. Bruce Lee understood that the best fighter will take the best from each martial art while abandoning the rest. We must attempt to do the same with educational theories. So passionately constructivist as my philosophy is, my curriculum and or school would take on a more student-focused approach than any other. Having never lost a child or a student within myself, one can say my system is one designed by a student for students, by a child for children. Believing profoundly that every human being is a diamond in the rough, my approach is akin to Michelangelo, who said, "I saw the angel in the marble uncarved until I set it free." My curriculum can be adapted to a public, private, or home-based setting. As for the classroom setting, the ideal would be to not have a classroom at all. If a classroom is desired, it would have a Montessori feel with bright colors, natural bright light, plants, toys, and learning stations. Ideally, the students in this curriculum will have the world as their learning station. Every day will be a field trip of some sort, and children do love field trips. They will learn about history by going to museums and seeing live plays or historically accurate films. They will learn about geography, not just by studying maps, but by creating their own through observation of topography. They will learn about astronomy and space through telescopes or the naked eye as they study the heavens by campfire light. Or they may attend a planetarium. They will learn about botany by exploring the wild and go one step beyond by studying survival techniques. Math will be studied by putting it to practical use, either by taking turns as group treasurer or calculating what can be afforded on ventures. No bells, no alarms, no desks, no chairs, no whiteboards. This is not near as novel as it sounds. It may be more akin to the very first educational systems which come from Greece. The word school itself derives from the ancient Greek word skole, which means leisure. Children will learn to love education and associate it with fun as they explore their own interests in the very real world and learn to train themselves toward their own self-actualization. Teaching staff will be those talented with the ability to not only create their own lesson plans but their own books, art, and music. Albert Bandura's learning through observation is pertinent here. Children will learn to take pleasure in creating through witnessing the creations made by their own teachers. Since the teacher creates all their own material, so too will the students create their own means to showcase their acquired knowledge and skills with passion. Having been drawn into the world of creation, they are likely to remain creators their whole lives. More inventors may come about, or those finding solutions to the most mind-boggling issues. It is no doubt that the human's ability to create and choose what to create separates them from the rest of the created world. Surely this ability to create is in part what it means to have been created in the image of God. Staff should not only be student-oriented, but also spiritually so. No particular religion will be pushed on the students. With teachers of various religions or spiritual views, students will be able to decipher for themselves what they perceive to be true in terms of spirituality as much as anything else, and witness how virtue connects them all. Even at the age of 3, students can begin to think logically if shown and critically if encouraged. Teachers will be screened for moral principles to ensure maltreatment or bullying is not overlooked or tolerated. Students will be taught how to deal with bullies so that they will not need a staff member to intervene. Families will be encouraged to witness events like plays or showcase of acquired skills. There will be communications so that they know what to expect and so that feedback will be available for teachers on the needs of individual students. Parents will certainly not have the power or influence they do in creative curriculum. Parents will be understood to be students themselves in that they are not educated in education or even in parenting. They will be expected to trust the curriculum and the school rather than attempt to either interfere with or alter it. This curriculum will indeed be student-focused, not parent-focused. If parents feel well-equipped to educate their own children, let them do so. Otherwise, they will be expected to let us do our job. They may exert their authority over their children, but not over the teachers of their children. Humanistic psychologists, those influenced by Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, will always be available and will be specialized in both child and parental psychology so as to lead both children and parents into more harmonious relationships. Lockdowns will not be tolerated any more than they will be effective. Even if this curriculum is used in a public setting, it is already such a curriculum that it cannot even be locked down, for there is no specific building from which it can be locked out of. Even if everything public is shut down, these students will not be. They may become more limited in what they can explore, such as if museums and planetariums are closed. However, both they and their teacher will have the creative approach to adjust and use the world itself as their learning station.